Welcome, welcome, welcome to Sales Team Rescue episode number 57. I'm your host, Jeremy DeMerchant. It's my pleasure to have another special guest with me, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about Sanae and all the amazingness that she is. So, Sanae Floyd is a coach and mentor for coaching entrepreneurs, a certified Canfield Success Principles trainer, best-selling author, and the proud founder of the Coaches Wealth Academy. With over 2 decades of experience in business and sales, Sanae helps entrepreneurs across the globe to master the psychology and the strategy for success, working with them to increase their impact and their income. Guys, join me in welcoming Sanae Floyd.
Oh, I love it. Just read that again.
Right.
Over
Just,
and over.
Thank you for entertaining my radio voice. I love it. So Sanae, thank you so much for being here. We first met at least 4, maybe 5 years ago. I'm in Canada, and today when we're recording this live, it's Canada Day here. So I'm excited to celebrate that with you. But you're not in Canada. You're not in the US.
I'm in the UK.
You're in the UK.
Yeah.
And so you're across the pond, a place that I have yet to go. So I'll get there. But we met because you and I have something in common, and that is a strong background in sales.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to get back in contact with you. I want to figure out what you're up to now, and I want to figure out how we can leverage what you're doing now to impact people all over the world, salespeople, sales professionals, sales leaders, entrepreneurs, as many people as we can. So
nice.
before I ramble too much, tell us a little bit about how you got to where you're at today.
Okay, so well, I'm really excited to be here. So thank you so much, Jeremy. My background is sales. I've been coaching, mentoring, managing in sales for 20 plus years now. So my background is corporate financial services sales, so probably the hardcore sales industry. And then for the last 5.5, almost 6 years, I've been in the online space, coaching and helping entrepreneurs to sell their services. So that's something I'm really passionate about. So when you mentioned the Coaches Wealth Academy, that's my baby, my passion. And it's just basically a platform with different arenas that help people at the different stages of the journey in their online career. But essentially mastering the sales game is one of the key things to success, to be able to achieve success in your business.
Well, it's so powerful, right? And we were talking a little bit before we went live that that a lot of people are like, they're anti-sales. I don't want to sell. I want to bring in a salesperson for that. That's not me. And I know, like in my life, being in sales has opened up huge opportunities.
Yeah.
And I know it has for you as well. But what do you think? Because the core strength here is sales, but you've managed to use that to help other specific groups of people, other businesses. But how do you feel that having that strength and that power in sales has helped you do that?
God, in so many ways, I think, because I think we're always selling. We're always selling. You know, every conversation you have with your child, if you're trying to coax your child or encourage them to eat their greens, you're actually effectively selling an idea to them. And, you know, and I do speaking events. So when you're talking, you're selling an idea to your audience. So this isn't just about selling products and getting a value exchange. It's also about selling ideas and getting people on board to think differently perhaps, or open up their paradigm or their perspective to just have some new ideas for themselves. So I think in that way, when you are able to communicate in an influential way and create that state change in your audience, then that's really powerful. So, you know, being able to sell in that way and have that influential conversation means that you're getting people to think differently and open up their perspectives. And one conversation could change somebody's life if they just think, do you know what, that book you've just told me about, I'm going to go read it because the way you've told me about it, I'm inspired, you know. And so they'll read that book and it could just set them on a whole new trajectory. So I think it's really a really powerful thing. And, you know, and one of the biggest messages that I share over and over is that being passionate about what you do, you when you're passionate, that passion is what sells. It's almost like your energy, the energy and enthusiasm you bring to the table is what sells. It's contagious, isn't it? Infectious.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting. I don't know if you know my background, but the first sale that I ever made was a scratch ticket, like a $1 lottery scratch ticket. But I worked at a convenience store. I was 14 years old, too young to buy them. But I got really excited because the brand on it was the name of a pool hall here in Canada. And I got excited because I was okay at pool. It was probably the most athletic I'd ever been was playing pool. But I got excited about this. And so somebody came in. I said, hey, have you seen these? You should buy one. And they did. And the next person came in. And I said, hey, have you seen these? You should buy one. And they bought two. And by the end of the weekend, this little 14-year-old boy had sold out of these lottery tickets by pure enthusiasm. And for me, that was the moment. It was when I realized that if I could share my enthusiasm and energy with somebody else, I could influence their buying decisions. The lights came on. So that's huge. That's what got me here. So absolutely.
Amazing.
It is. And so tell me about helping somebody find their passion. Now, that's a lot easier said than done. I know, like in my career, I've led sales teams. I've been frontline sales. I've been the marketing guy. I've been lots of different roles, and even running my own business. Sometimes I wear multiple hats, and there's days when I go, this is going to be one of those days, and there's some days I'm like, I'm bang on. And I know as a sales rep, and part of what I do is still closing for some clients and run sales teams for other clients. But if we think of from a sales rep's perspective, they're closing sales for somebody else. How much of an impact do you think it has that they are clear on what is their passion? Like, what's the passion, the thing that they're passionate in their life, to be able to communicate through sales?
So, that's a really great question, because I think if it depends on, it helps to be passionate about what you're selling. There's no doubt about it. So really understanding the impact of what you're selling and what it will do for the customer has got to be there. Otherwise, it's going to be really difficult for them to stoke any kind of energy. If there's a lack of enthusiasm for the service or the product that they're selling as a sales rep, then having another why for being in that chair, picking up that phone, making those calls, that drives them to do a great job anyway. So it's having that clarity for that person of what their purpose is, whether that's because they're on board with the company and what the company sells, or whether there's another reason for them to be doing that particular job. So I think either is powerful, but as long as there is that sense of purpose or passion behind the reason they're doing that work.
I love that.
Yeah, so years ago when I was in the corporate space, we had, and I'll never forget the story, and I've told it a few times, but there was an assistant branch manager in the financial services company that I worked for, and she was in charge of selling mortgages and all the associated insurances, and she was okay. She did an okay job. She just sort of was that kind of average, sometimes hit target, sometimes just short. But what happened in her career was suddenly she started selling home insurance like it was going out of fashion, to the point that she just exceeded all her targets. The managers pulled her out of her branch and started getting her to train other branches and other staff. And it was a case of what has changed that is making her so phenomenal in her performance in this one particular product. Dial back just before she started to sell off the scale, she experienced a home fire. And that experience, luckily, her child, her partner, they all got out of the property. The property was gutted with smoke damage. Everything was damaged. The home insurance company housed her. They took care of her. They said, don't worry about anything you need to buy. We will reimburse you. Just put it on your credit card. We'll pay you. Get the kids sorted, all cots, buy it all. We will reimburse you. They took such amazing care. And because of that one experience and the aftercare, she was so passionate about this product that she could talk about it. And that, And I think for her, as much as she went to the other branches and tried to train the other staff, and their sales may have had a little spike, nobody could sell it like she could because of her personal experience with the particular product and all the implications. So this is why, again, when I talk to people who are in their own service-based business, that when they are clear on why they're selling that thing, what does it mean for them specifically? And for most coaches, and I know we're talking sort of bigger picture, but for a lot of service-based entrepreneurs, the reason they have that passion is because they've been through that journey for themselves. So they've navigated some struggle, they've come out the other side, and now they're passionate about helping other people who are where they were. And I think that adds such a dynamic to their ability to communicate passionately. Because it's like no one on my watch will go through what I went through, and therefore that's very powerful.
That fire's burning. Yeah. And that's huge, because I've heard people talk about, and I mean, I say it all the time, like I say, I can sell anything I believe in. But then there are times when I'm like, well, I can sell it for other reasons too, because there's something else I believe in, right? Like, and sometimes it's, well, this is a product that I've never used myself, and I think it's good. But then you're motivated by, hey, well, I need to generate commission for my family, or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But the story you shared is bang on, and it's a common one.
Yes.
I know Zig Ziglar shares a story in one of his trainings where he's explaining or talking to another sales rep, and the sales rep is just came from an appointment, and the guy had said, well, some in his family had been sick and things are really expensive, and this guy was selling fire alarms, and he's like, the guy can't afford it, doesn't have it, like he's had a rough go. And Zig says, look, like, if he has a fire, he's going to lose everything. He cannot afford to lose anything more. And if you don't go in and sell him this, you're going to do him a huge disservice. And in that story, it was because the gentleman didn't have the experience, right? He couldn't speak to it. And I think that's one of the biggest challenges for bringing new salespeople on board, is getting them caught up to not just on the content, like understanding the product, but understanding the result, like who does it help? And that's why I support, and a lot of network marketing companies talk about be a product of the product. And when I worked in financial services, I worked for a life insurance company. I had to have life insurance through them, so I could say, yes, I'm a client. Right. So it's such a huge thing.
Yeah.
So that it's a great example. Thank you for sharing that, because it's so important.
Yeah, it is.
Right? We're not going in just to make phone calls. We're not going in just to click the buttons on the computer. We're not knocking on doors for our health, although it might be good cardio. But there's a reason. You need to have that reason behind it. So tell me more about how you help people find their passion right now. So even outside of the sales context or sales teams context, who are you helping now, and how does it work? Like, what's the process you take them through?
The process. So my passion is coaches. So helping coaches, and a lot of the coaches that come to me, they've tried everything. They've tried everything, and it's still not working. So they're throwing out content, they've done the webinar program, they've done the funnel building, and just something doesn't quite align. And it's always about, they're just off track with exactly what it is they do. So their zone of genius, that's what's missing. And so the process I take them through is, we look at, for me, it's two-pronged. There's the gift and the skill. So the gift is that thing you were born with, that unique you, that thing that when you express it, it's so powerful because it's you doing you. And what tends to happen is the gift gets lost at a very young age. Either it's too much, they get told it's too much, or it's not, it makes you not enough, or whatever. But that gift is often what's honed through struggle. So they get good with this gift because it's the thing that's helped them navigate struggle. And then when you add to the gift the skill, so the skill is whatever they've learned through experience from their career or their professional life or their academics. When they combine the skill with the gift, it's a really powerful proposition that they then can go out there and deliver, and it's a tangible outcome because of the skill, and They're passionate about it because they know it like the back of their hand, plus it combines, what they're passionate about. So I think it's looking at what is the gift and the skill. And this was one of why I'm very passionate about it, because it was one of my biggest struggles when I first entered the coaching arena. I didn't enter as a sales coach. I just burst out on the scene thinking, I want to coach people, I want to help people, and I didn't know how. And what I did was I actually thought, right, this is the start of a new life. This is me. I'm 40. I've been through a tough time, and I'm drawing a line in the sand. Freshly divorced, freshly this, freshly that. I'm starting fresh. So I kind of boxed up my old life and packed it away, thinking I'm done with her. This is the fresh start. Not realizing that everything in that box is everything that is powerful for what makes me me, what I bring to the table. And I see that time and time again. Coaches start after years of being in a particular industry and they think, oh my God, I'm new as a coach, therefore it's almost like I'm an imposter. What do I bring to the table? So it's actually about looking at your whole life story and pulling all of the best bits of it, if you like. And there's always patterns and themes that you can see running through that helps people identify what is it that is their zone of genius, what makes them the credible solution, if you like, for their ideal client.
I love it. I love it. So how does somebody know if they should work with you?
If everything else they've tried everything and it's still not working, that's when they know.
So you're specializing in the fed up.
They've hit a ceiling. So what I tend to find when people come to me now, it's that they've hit stagnation, and sometimes what they did that was working has stopped working and they don't know why. So they start backpedaling, and their message gets lost. They feel lost. Who am I as a coach? What's my message? There's so many things they could be, and they don't know which one to choose. So that tends to be where they come to me. They've just hit that ceiling of like threshold.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Hitting up against that.
Yes, absolutely.
Gotcha. Okay. So we know who you work with. We know how you help them. And you've got a gift that you want to share with our audience. And I want you to tell me about this video series that you put together. And let's talk about not only how it'll help, your ideal client in the coaching space, but I want to hear how you feel it can help someone in sales as well.
Absolutely. Well, this is the bedrock of excellent sales. What this delivers, because I ran it. I've been running. Actually, this is a challenge that I ran originally in 2016. 2016, and the people that took it live had phenomenal results. It was a challenge where they had to go out and share their message in different groups and on Facebook and all this kind of thing. And no matter how scared they were, they had to go out there and share each day a different part of their message. But each video builds on the video before. So what we do is we look at it's called Shine Your Light, because I want to help people kind of tap into find their authentic message so they can really show up and shine with confidence. But basically it's looking at who their ideal client is, what makes them credible, what's been the greatest source of struggle, which ultimately brings their greatest strength to the table. And then it kind of ends with a process that I teach to help somebody create their expert positioning story, which you can use in a 60-second pitch, or you can use as part of a 60-minute live presentation. And it just positions your story in such a way that it sells.
I love it.
It gets people on board and shares what your mission is. It's kind of like a breakdown of the process I take somebody through one-on-one.
Gotcha. So kind of like a jump start.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, I love it. So
once they've got that, then they feel excited. They have clarity of the message, And that then enables them to show up. They show up.
Mm.
And when you show up, you start to attract. Your ideal clients won't show up unless you show up first. That's the thing.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So guys, if you're watching live, if you're watching the replay, if you're listening to the podcast, go to sanaefloyd.com/free-shine-light-challenge. So that's in the comments there. It's on the
Thank
screen.
you.
And be sure to check it out. And Sanae is spelled Sanai, Floyd F-E. Oh my goodness. It's right on the screen. I'm reading it wrong. SANAEFLOYD.com. Awesome. Well, Sanae, I appreciate you sharing all this. And now I want to dive into what I think, I mean, for me, is the most fun part of the conversation. And that's saying a lot, because I have a blast on every one of these shows, but this is the lightning round. And the lightning round, I'm going to hit you with about 4 questions. And I want to get a little behind the scenes of who you are. Okay. So question number 1, we all know that coffee is for closers. What's your favorite kind of coffee or comparable drink?
Okay. So I am straight down the middle, black Americano.
Love it.
No messing.
Me too. That's awesome. Excellent. Now, tell me, what book or movie would you recommend to somebody who is in sales or in a sales leadership role?
Well, do you know, I think this is an odd suggestion. So can I say 2?
Sure. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
There's a book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Dr. Joe Dispenza. Mm-hmm. Now, the reason I recommend that book is that when you are struggling with sales, there's an underlying BS that you've got going on. There's fear, there's stories you're telling yourself, and beliefs you have about yourself and your ability to sell and what selling means for you. So this really is about shifting your entire mindset around anything, but you can use it for sales. And also it shifts who you're being. And I think who you're being is fundamentally so important to be able to confident selling. So yeah, it's your beingness as well as your doing that is, I love it, powerful.
Awesome. So is that one recommendation? You said you had a second one?
Oh, so the second one is The Success Principles, of course, by Jack Canfield.
Of course.
Set those goals, how much, by when, you know, just because what he teaches is just to be really, really clear on what it is you're going for, why you're going for it. You know, the whole goal setting dynamic, I think, is very important in selling.
Love it. I love it. I was this close to being on stage at an event with Jack.
Oh, close. Yeah. He's my guru.
Yeah. He's awesome. He's awesome.
Yeah.
So share with us, if you would, someone who has been a mentor in your life.
Well, it would be Jack Canfield. So I've met Jack. I've done his, I'm a certified Canfield Success Principles trainer. So yeah, he's been pivotal in kind of the transformation that I've experienced in my own life and career. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Awesome. Yeah. Final question. What is the strangest thing that you do in your daily routine to keep you on your game?
Okay, so in my bedroom, it's going to be very disappointing.
That's how every interesting story starts. Okay.
That was a really good beginning, and now you're going to be really disappointed. So I have a whiteboard sheet. Mm-hmm. And I follow it's kind of the Seinfeld message for consistency. Okay. So it's basically a whiteboard sheet that I've drawn a load of grid lines on it. And every day when I've completed my daily exercise, my mindset, my plant-based and my meditation, I put a big cross on it. Okay. And the reason I do that is, and this is the Seinfeld method, is by the time you've got to a point, you don't want to break the chain. So it's less about doing the work. It's more about not breaking the chain. But since I've been doing that for various different new habits I want to create or break, it's amazing how that simple tool ensures that you break or make whatever habit it is you want to break or make. It's so simple and yet it's so powerful. So let's call it tracking daily, whatever it is you want to create.
But tracking on the wall in your bedroom.
Yes, so I see it every morning and every night. It's there.
I think that's huge. I've talked to a lot of people who, whether it's vision boards or tracking or, some people will put quotes up, but they're nervous about where to put them in their house because they think if someone comes over, someone will think I'm crazy.
Yes.
So let's both just kind of stand up for those people right now and just say, you're not crazy. Well, you're no more crazy than the rest of us. And what was the quote? Those who care don't matter, and those who matter don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So
I love it. My PSA for the day.
I love it. It's so true.
Awesome. It is. Yeah. So, and this actually reminds me of a quote that one of my mentors said, and it's kind of, well, it wasn't his originally, but he says, you need to inspect what you expect. And so if you want to achieve anything, then this is, right in alignment with Jack's success principles, right?
Yeah.
You need to be able to measure.
Yeah.
You need to be able to track it, and you need that accountability for yourself. So that is huge. So I'm the build up to starting in your bedroom. It wasn't a disappointment, at least not for me anyway. So I think that's awesome. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
So guys, I want you to go check out Sanae Floyd. You can go to her main website, SanaeFloyd.com. Again, that is SANAEFLOYD.com.
Thank you.
And we've got the link to the video series as well for you could take advantage of. That's in the comments and on the screen right now. And if you're listening to the podcast, it's down below. So be sure to check that out. Sanae, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate your time. I love your energy, and just whenever you show up on screen, it's like you radiate this energy that I want to share with everybody.
Oh, so bless you. Thank you so much.
I'm so glad that we could make this work. I'm excited. And guys, just be sure to reach out to her because just one conversation with her will completely shift things. So it'll just change your energy, everything. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And guys, thank you for tuning into episode number 57 of Sales Team Rescue. If you want to catch this replay, previous episodes, and a link to make sure you catch us live, go to salesteamrescue.com. And as well, if you would like to book your sales team blueprinting session with yours truly, that link is also at salesteamrescue.com. We will see you right here next Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern on Headspace TV. Remember, guys, get uncomfortable, get results. Cheers.